Hello. Hey, howdy. What's up, everybody? Letting this load up here because we are broadcasting live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. It's the unhappy hour. But guess what? It's a very happy hour. The Browns got it done. If you're watching us on the New American Media, this is one of our sports shows, not our regular current events and political content for the Agree to Disagree show. So if you're not interested in the sports, you can go that direction and check us out tomorrow. We'll be going live at 3 p.m. Eastern, as we always do, with Blake Wally covering the craziness in the world of news. But today we're going to cover the craziness in the Cleveland Browns' last second epic victory. Here we go. Okay, so that video clip usually has audio saying you're watching the unhappy hour on the new AmericanMedia.com. However, it doesn't have audio, so let's just jump right into it. The Cleveland Browns are an epic team. Cleveland Browns are defying common sense, reality. The Cleveland Browns are doing things that, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I mean, let's just face it, we have found ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory ever since 1996 when our team was stolen and taken to Baltimore. But that has changed this year. These Cleveland Browns have figured out how to win. These Cleveland Browns snatch victories from the jaws of defeat. These Cleveland Browns are different. And that's why it's so fun watching this team this year. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love what's going on. Leave your comments, by the way. I may be able to see them and I may be able to incorporate them. And if you left a comment that you want to join the show, I might be able to send you a link. I forget how to do that. I got to figure out how to get this interaction here. But anyway, let's jump into the Cleveland Browns game here. And then I'm going to walk you around the league and tell you what everything means. So, on a cold and rainy day in Cleveland in the middle of December, and would you take cold and rainy over snow and ice? Maybe, probably. Although some dry snow is a little better than some wet rain, I suppose, sometimes. But this game had Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis nearly drowned. His kid or kids got caught up in a rip current out at the beach, and he jumped in to save him, and he got ripped under as well. For a minute there, I thought we were going to lose Browns running back, the White Rhino. He was perhaps the greatest one season in all of NFL history. Ended up on the cover of Madden, the #1 football game. They got a Cleveland Browns player. That's how good Peyton Hillis was. Came over in a trade from the Denver Broncos. Allegedly left the team because someone was jealous that his lady liked Peyton a little too much. But anyway, all that stuff aside, Peyton Hillis, Browns legend, always will be. He was there to smash the guitar. So we've seen Jim Donovan do that. We've seen Phil Dawson do that. It's quite an honor. It's reserved for only the Browns legends. I don't know. Eventually, they're going to run out of legends. They'll just have to bring in like Drew Carey and other Cleveland faces. But it was really cool to see Peyton Hillis start this game off. And yeah, Roger Goodell in the house. You just wonder, is the script, you've heard about the NFL script, is the script in session? I don't know. Was Roger Goodell coming down to kind of take a look at the fans, how hungry the fans are? Do they want a Super Bowl enough? Because a lot of people are now saying, with all of the gambling weirdness that's happening with refereeing, that the NFL has never felt more like scripted reality television, like a World Wrestling Entertainment, World Wrestling Federation, WWF, WWE type event, as opposed to an even and equal battle on the field. Just 1 week after Myles Garrett was fined for calling out the refs, saying, "I'm getting held most of the game. You got to throw some flags. You can't penalize me for being awesome." Well, wondered how that would translate. Turns out Myles Garrett wasn't held a single time, according to the referees this game. They looked the other way. And yes, he was getting held, getting mangled. So I don't know what's supposed to happen there. On a side note, I do want to mention what's going on in Steelerville. There was another dirty hit a couple of days ago. I believe it was a Thursday night game. No, it was a Saturday game. Was it yesterday? I think it was the Saturday game before the Browns beat the Bears. Once again, just another crazy, reckless play from a defender on the Steelers, just blowing up the helmet of Michael Pittman Jr. on the wide receiver on the Indianapolis Colts. I have had it with the dirty play since we're talking about Miles being held all the time, and we need to get a little bit of help here. There needs to be some sort of repercussions. I think Mike Tomlin is leading the dirtiest program in the NFL. It's on the level of the Bounty Gate situation with what was that? Sean Payton and Greg Williams, who came on to coach the Browns. And frankly, I felt like as a rehabbed coach, he should have been able to stay. He had that team playing really well. But I think the Steelers, and here's my definition of a dirty play. You can hit hard all day. And there are rules in place on defenseless receivers and blindsiding the quarterback and putting all of your body weight back to break the ribs. And, there's all sorts of things that the rule book has said, look, go out and play a tough match. But you don't need to injure or ruin a guy's career. Some of these injuries, like when Minkah Fitzpatrick took out Nick Chubb's knee, that was a dirty ass play. He was already being held. He was already going down. And Fitzpatrick he had his helmet low. He dove at the knee. He wasn't even looking. He just blew the knee up. And it's my contention that players like that should be suspended indefinitely until or unless that injured player returns. That could be a year. That could be you're done for your career. Something along those lines. If you don't protect the players, I don't know what you're doing out there. I don't know what your purpose is. To the point where it's nearly criminal. So once again, it's my call on the NFL to do something about this. I think Mike Tomlin is leading one of the dirtiest organizations in all of sports. And on the heels of Draymond Green, one of the clowns of the NBA, getting suspended. It's important that you have to protect the integrity of the game and the other players playing the sport. Yeah, well, in the 80s, Bill Laimbeer and the bad boys, they'd knock you down and hit you in the face. It's like, that's not basketball. That's thug ball. That's street ball. That's rugby. That's not basketball. Body someone up. Yeah. I mean, use your power, your strength, your agility, your torque. Use all of that stuff. But, just blindsiding people and trying to injure them and ruin their lives, ruin their careers. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. So I think the definition of a dirty play, and I'll get right into the game. It's just, this is heavy on my mind. And the Browns losing Nick Chubb to this crap. Just imagine Nick Chubb running the ball with the rest of this team. The amazing punter, the amazing kicker, the resurgence of just getting enough points to get it through and just that winning energy. Imagine Nick Chubb added to this. We've been robbed of that because of a dirty play from the Steelers. But my definition of a dirty play is if you're in practice, talking about practice, man, not a game. We're talking about practice, man. So if you're in in a practice, and somebody on defense makes a play, blasting and blowing up someone's head, just flying across the field, complete reckless abandon, just knocking into his head. Or if someone already has the runner wrapped up, and you dive and extend the knee the opposite direction and blow up all the ligaments, would you have a job on that team? Would you get cut from your team? Would you get into a fight and kicked off the team, suspended from your team, if you were hurting your own teammates like that? If that's how it would be, if that's how a team would feel about someone on their own team injuring another player on their team. Now, accidents happen, but when you look at it and it looks clearly reckless to the point of ridiculous or intentionally dirty, I don't know what the difference is. That player has to suffer consequences, the same as the person they just took out, or else you're encouraging it. You're encouraging more players to get hurt. So anyway, just a little side note. It's an important issue that football fans were robbed of Nick Chubb helping this team win this year, and it's a damn shame. Now, it's great seeing Kareem Hunt come in, and he's making quite a few big plays. Jerome Ford's had a few good games and a few whatever games, but Nick Chubb deserves to be here, and it's a shame that he can't. I'm actually wondering because they're saying Aaron Rodgers might get a chance to come back against the Browns, maybe from his Achilles. Is it possible that Nick Chubb could be ready by the Super Bowl? Now that might be far fetched. That might be unlikely, but I mean, I guess we've seen it all now with Aaron Rodgers getting cleared to play. So anyway, Browns once again. I've put this question out here. Question of the day: could you take all of the injured Browns players and round the team out with some role players and defeat the current Browns team? I really don't know how to answer that. All of the offensive line. Now Joel Batonio went out. He tweaked his back prior to the game, and he came out, tried to play, and he just didn't have it in him. And I know how that goes. I hurt my ankle back when I was playing, and I tried to play because we were in the playoffs. We were undefeated, and I was a starter on special teams. And I tried. I mean, I was on crutches during the week, and I tried to go during the game, and I couldn't push off. I couldn't stand upright. I had nothing in me. I tried one play the first two games. Um, couldn't do it. But anyway, I digress. But that's apparently what happened with Batonio. He had a pre-existing injury and his back is tweaked. So we'll see. We got to monitor that because we are really thin. But I mean, if you took Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson and Jack Conklin and Joel Batonio and Jedrick Wills and uh, uh, Dewan Jones and round that whole team out, could that team beat the team that we have? I don't know. But that's just how good, you got Grant Delpit, you've had Ward in and out of play, you've had Anthony Walker. Look, I could go down the whole list. The Browns are almost missing more players than we have from that 52-man roster. I mean, we got guys. Some guy named Blake. I don't know, Blake Hance. Remember when Baker said that when they had to sign a guy off a practice squad? I think off the Green Bay. I don't know, off the practice squad or something, and just plugged and played him. But anyway, Batonio left early, and you could just kind of see that the offensive line is really showing some symptoms, showing some wear for the injuries, the rampant injuries that have gone on through the organization. Montez Sweat and the Bears kind of were teeing off on our offensive line all game. Really, no running game to speak of. That's just so weird to think about that there's not much of a running game to speak of, especially from the Cleveland Browns. Because the Cleveland Browns, AFC North teams, it's traditionally ground and pound. It's tough yards. It's smash mouth football. More so, really, than any organization or any division rather. But the Browns only had 29 yards rushing on the day. Think about that, 29 yards rushing. In comparison, the Bears had 88. But Justin Fields had 30 of those. Take that away, that's 58 yards. That's not much better either. If you take away a couple of runs, along 22 from Roshan, 15 from Fields, and 15 from Belus Jones Jr., I mean, that's 52 of the 88 right there. So it was hard to run all day long. The Browns' defensive line played well. The Bears' defensive line played well. And we knew this was potentially a trap game coming in. We knew right off the bat this was going to be a challenge. But look, the Browns rose to the challenge, fortunately, and got it done. But it was a tough slog. Is that the word, the phrase I'm looking for? A slog. Anyway, so the game gets going. Not too much in the first quarter, really. Then Dalvin Tomlinson, a lot of back and forth, 3 and out, 4 and out. Dalvin Tomlinson got a strip sack, but then Fields recovered it. That was unfortunate because that would have had us in nice field position. Then Flacco threw an interception to Tillman. Eddie Jackson got the interception, took it all the way back to the 2. Once again, you talked to Joe Flacco after the game, the reporter did, and he called out. He's like, "Oh, I think he said every point that the opposing team has had in the last 2 weeks or the last 2 or 3 weeks, or most of the points. I forget how it was exactly phrased, but most of the points given up were directly because of a turnover. a giveaway from the offense that left them in scoring position right there. So after the interception, Fields got pushed out of the pocket, escaped over to the left, spun and roll, went to the left, found Cole Kmet in the end zone. Bears take a 7-0 lead, and you're going, oh, come on. Oh, come on. This is not. Is it going to be one of these days? So in the second quarter, Browns are down 7-0. Threads the needle on a second quarter pass completion to Tillman, Cedric Tillman. And then a great rollout toss to Amari Cooper on a jumping catch down to the Bears 27. Lots of different receivers involved. You could tell right by the second quarter, this is who Flacco is. He doesn't fixate on players. And you saw that, during that wonky season, at least that first half of the season, when you saw Baker Mayfield trying to get it to Odell Beckham Jr. When Baker was just throwing to no names, he just knew where the players were supposed to be. He tossed it, damn near made a superstar out of Hollywood Higgins. Who? I mean, last I heard, he ended up on Carolina, and we see what Carolina's doing, a whole lot of nothing. I don't know. But when you fixate on a player and you're trying to feed him the rock, things get wonky. But Flacco just takes what there seems to be out there. Another really cool play, the direct snap to Hunt with Flacco lined up as receiver. But Hunt couldn't get us the first down. It's good that they're running some of these plays that have different outcomes, because then when you see it on film, you can prepare for it. But then you prepare for one, and then there's a wrinkle to it. These are the best plays. They look the same. They start the same. You have the same motion. But then from that, you can take it 9 different directions. All right, on this play, it's going to be a direct snap, and Hunt's going to run. I'll get to it later because there's a trick play that came up that proved to be fairly critical. But that is good coaching. That is good scheming. I like that a lot. Couldn't get the first down. So then on 4th and 2, they put in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Yes, he's still, he's sitting there ready to jump in if necessary, because you were only one play away from needing him again. DTR is in a package, takes the snap and throws a bullet swing pass to Ford, converting on 4th and 2. Really nice pass. Then from Flacco to Tillman, takes it down to the 2-yard line. Flacco rolls out right and shoots a bullet to the back of the end zone, caught by Njoku for a 7-7 tie. I'm really glad that it held up on review. Really glad it held up on review, because he did catch the ball. And even when he went down, I mean, he was holding it above his head, and that ball was not going anywhere. And he had someone knocking at it. I mean, that was the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip on that ball. But on the replay, it looked like his toes got it. He caught the pass. But then as he was moving, one of those feet slid and may have the heel might have gotten near where the line was. Okay, it held up on review, so let's take it. Caught the pass and did score the touchdown. Maybe the 3 best games that Njoku has played in his career. Maybe it's because of the quarterback. Maybe it's delivery. Maybe it's DiGiorno. But anyway, holds up on review. It's a 7-7 tie. Yeah, Njoku is just thriving with Flacco under the center. So anyway, a little bit of back and forth there, and then with just 2:26 left in the second half, 3rd and 4, Greg Newsome gets perhaps the easiest interception he will ever see. But I think when he kind of spun and the receiver went in and the ball kind of sailed on Fields, or the receiver turned the wrong direction, whichever one it was. I mean, Newsome, his hands were kind of at the center mass, and he had to get him up real quick. And by the time he just couldn't get it. That might be the easiest interception he'll ever see. And Greg Newsome could not get it done. That would have given the Browns incredible field position. It just wasn't meant to be. Browns get the ball back. Joe Flacco rolls right and tosses it over the middle to Elijah Moore. And I noticed this about Joe Flacco. It just seems like he knows where to throw it when plays get busted. And I think he's going to get even more comfortable with this as the games progress, because our receivers need to learn how to take a busted play and then run themselves open. I think Flacco, a Super Bowl winning, MVP, Super Bowl MVP quarterback, a Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback, you know what I'm saying? He's got a lot of experience here, and we have some receivers that are not that experienced. Tillman being one of them. Three of those bad plays could be perhaps directly attributed to him maybe not being in the right spot. But I think playing with Flacco, the receivers are going to learn that when a play gets busted, there are certain ways to come back to the ball, to do crossing routes, to take it deep. Players are taught that. But I think you start to lull yourself into why should I even bother when you have people like Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to be here to bash Deshaun Watson. You know my position on Deshaun Watson. Not a super fan, but I will say he played a perfect second half to beat the first place Ravens in a huge game that we needed on the road with a broken shoulder. So let's give him some credit for that. But Watson to me has always struck me as someone that doesn't fully understand the playbook and doesn't fully understand where everyone's supposed to be. So if his first or second read isn't there, he just kind of tucks and runs. But the key to tucking and running is to tuck and run with eyes up with an intent to chuck it to someone. And I think the Browns for the past 2 years playing with either rookies, Jacoby Brissett, okay, that was a little different, but with Deshaun Watson, I think when plays are busted, they're not really anticipating getting the ball. But if Joe Flacco, 1,000, 1,000, can't find read one, read two, read three, then he kind of scampers, goes sideways or up in the pocket and over. Then it's just kind of run yourself open. I don't care what the route was. Now it's just go where the defenders ain't. And then he's got to try to figure out and get it to you. A little bit of backyard football. So I've seen a lot of that from Flacco already, and I'm impressed by it. And I just hope that our receivers continue to get on the same page with him because that's going to, that could be the difference in a game. A busted play that turns into something huge. So anyway, drive stalls when Flacco airmails it to Cedric Tillman. Tillman was 5 yards out of bounds. Now, I don't know what that was about. I mean, did he run 5 yards out of bounds? Did he get pushed 5 yards out of bounds? Because I think there's some rules against doing that. Anyway, we got to work on Tillman and where he's at in the game. I'm sure it's going to come out in watching the film. He's a rookie, and he needs to get some reps here. Either in the wrong spot or ran into the wrong spot on at least 3 occasions today. Now at the first team reps, he's got to clear that stuff up. Bears get the ball back. A huge Roshan Johnson run up the middle and DJ Moore reception advanced the Bears to the Brownie logo with 34 seconds left in the half. Komet gets the catch for the first. Then Darnell Mooney gets them close to field goal range. Then Ronnie Hickman almost intercepts the ball. And it stalls out. No points. So it's 7-7 game. Browns get the ball in the second half. Take it up to the 40. So Flacco tosses it to Tillman across the middle, and he gets teed off on and crushed. Absolutely smashed. The deflection was taken back by Tremaine Edwards on the interception all the way for a touchdown. Browns now trail 7-14. We've seen this several times this season, where opposing defenses start jumping routes and lighting us up on hits or going for picks. We really need a few more stop and go, pump and go routes to keep the defenses honest. They're jumping the routes. We've seen this repeatedly. Anyway, Bears get the ball back again, drive to the 40, then the 28, but miss a Ward. Touchdown flag, fly route pass, covered by Denzel Ward. We'll call him CJ Moore? DJ Moore. Anyway, Bears drive kind of stalls out there where they take a shot for 7, and then they make a 41-yard field goal in the wind with Cairo Santos. So Browns are trailing pretty significantly at this point. Cody Bajorquez punts. He knocks it back to the 20-yard line, and the punt is muffed. Browns take over. Huge play, huge momentum change. Flacco throws into quadruple coverage on the next play. And instead of hitting it to Jordan Akins, you could hear even the announcers. They said, he's open. They didn't mean Njoku. Njoku had quadruple coverage on him. They meant Jordan Akins running a fly route on the right-hand side. He threw it to the left with Njoku. So he fixated on the wrong. It was wide open touchdown had he gone the opposite direction. Anyway, Browns turn it over on something that could have been a real game-changing opportunity there. Fields runs it a few times. Nice runs. Roshan Johnson runs another one up to 38. Then Fields runs on 4th down. They go for it, and he gets tripped up on a diving, stretched out arm. I mean, everything he had just barely tripped him up. He stumbled, bumbled, and where he landed with the knee, with the elbow, where the ball was, came up that short, and the Browns took over. Huge, huge defensive stop. So you have about a 60-yard, beautiful bomb from Joe Flacco after that to Marquise Goodwin. It's not, once again, so many players making catches, so many players being targeted. That takes us down to the 15-yard line, and we stall out, unfortunately, leading to Hopkins knocking in a 33-yarder, cutting the lead to 10-17. Browns hold on defense and get the ball back, but Montez Sweat sacks us, and we stall that drive. Back to the Bears. Field scrambles with under 8 left, up to the Brownie logo. And then you have Joker on the next play. Huge blitz off the Browns' left-hand side of the defense, the Bears' right tackle. Huge sack. Joker playing some really, really great football. Browns get the ball back, and Hunt converts. 4th down, 4 minutes left in the game. So you got a Hunt direct snap. Flacco goes in motion post-snap, then passes it back to Hunt, catches it on the 1st down. It was a wonky play, but it was once again a variation of what you saw before. It's direct snap to Hunt, but now there's a wrinkle, and then Flacco came in motion, then he gave it to him, then Flacco gave it back. So, I mean, these are, even when you prepare for these trick plays, they could be 4 different versions, 10 different versions of the same play. That's smart. That's a good way to do it. So with 3:17 left, Flacco then threads the needle on 3 defenders for Cooper crossing route. Catches it in between 3 people. I mean, this play, you watch it. Flacco lets go. There's nobody open. He's throwing to a spot knowing that he's going to get in right in that one little window. What the announcer called it, a honey pot or something like that. So cutting across, Cooper catches it, spins around the sideline, and has to do the tiptoe dance all the way down for a touchdown. Is this the play of the season? I mean, there's a lot of plays of the season, but this is amongst the biggest plays of the season. Threw it before he was open. Perfect anticipation. So then Bears get the ball back. Garrett and Emerson get great tackles to stop the Bears' drive. Flacco then throws it to Njoku for a big-time gain. Then he throws it to Njoku again for a second one, splits it, spins, and takes it down the sidelines. In this tie game now, Dustin Hopkins takes the lead with 32 seconds left, 20-17. So in the Bears wide receiver, Scott, on the ensuing possession, you're down to just 32 seconds left in the game. Browns lead by 3. The Bears wide receiver, Scott, takes it really deep on a super soft prevent coverage, catches it, and then on 2 missed tackles, takes it 30 yards after the catch and run. A couple plays later, Fields ends up at the 45, and you're just going 45, 55, 62, crappy weather. I mean, but you could tie it on a long kick. They said, no, we're not going to kick it. We're going to toss it. All right. So Fields rolls out left, shucks it up. Everybody jumped in the end zone on the Hail Mary attempt. It gets knocked down, but it went right into Mooney's hands, right in his breadbasket. But as he's rolling back on his coccyx, that's his butt, the tailbone, as he's rolling back trying to bring it in, he kind of loses it, and the ball comes up, and then his leg kicks the ball, and the Browns intercept it. D'Anthony Bell stepping in for all of the injured players, intercepts the ball, starts running it, drops down at the 1-2 yard line. Game over. Browns win. Holy crap. We are a team of destiny, people. Team of destiny. I don't know where this ranks on most epic Browns wins, but I'd say it's got to be up there. So, what does that mean now? Well, I'll tell you what it means. It means that we're second in the AFC North. We've pulled away a little bit. Unfortunately, the Baltimore Ravens won their game yesterday, so they have clinched a playoff spot, yes. Where's the remaining games here? There we go. So on the 24th, on Christmas Eve, the Browns are going to be at Houston playing the Texans. We'll see if C.J. Stroud is back. They are in the hunt. Then we're going to get the Jets. 4 days after that game, we play the Jets on very short notice at home. And then we wrap up the season against the Bengals. So it's an interesting rest season. 3 games. We are very close to clinching a playoff spot. But you don't take anything for granted. You don't rest on your laurels at all. And you can't pat yourself on the back. You haven't done a damn thing yet. Keep it honest. Keep it real. All right. I'm going to tell you one quick thing here. Wrap this up. Just want to walk through the AFC for you real quick. The playoff, there we go, playoff standings. At the top of the conference, like I said, at 11-3 are the Baltimore Ravens. In the East, the Miami Dolphins are leading 10-4. Then you got the Kansas City Chiefs with our record 9-5. Jacksonville leads their division 8-6. So look, the Cleveland Browns in 2 other divisions would be in first place right now. Unfortunately, we have the Ravens in ours. And then at number 6, right behind us at number 5, you have the Cincinnati Bengals, doggone it, at 8-6. They keep winning somehow. I mean, just a 1-game difference. You don't want to look in the rearview mirror, but you got 4 teams back there, and you're playing one of them next week. So you got the Bengals right behind us. They have the most tiebreaker wins. Behind them are the Colts. We beat them head-to-head. Then the Titans and the Bills. Who would have thought the Bills would be on the outside looking in, but they are. So these are huge games coming up, especially against Houston Texans. If we win, I don't know that we'll knock Houston out. It kind of depends on what else happens in the league, but you're going to want to win that game. Then after that, at the 10th best record in the AFC, you got the Steelers and the Broncos tied at 7-7. They're not completely out, but I mean, it's going to take some luck now. But we've distanced ourselves by 2 games now. Remember when it was like tied neck and neck? Behind them are the Raiders at 6-8. And then you got the Chargers still in it somehow, but then the players of the teams eliminated are the Titans, Jets, and Patriots. So anyway, huge win for the Cleveland Browns. I'll take it. Epic victory. It seems like we are the team of destiny. I'm pulling for the Super Bowl. How about it? Good stuff. Great win. Yeah, Coach Stefanski's got to be considered for Coach of the Year. He has a lot of legitimate knocks that you can make on him. And I've done several other shows on that particular point. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can't really knock him for how he's been able to hold this team together like MacGyver with chewing gum and a toothpick and some chewing gum. I mean, how many people can be injured in a season? I mean, we got to be close to setting some sort of a record. Who knows? It is what it is. Browns get the win. I'm going to sign out for now. Sign up for the Unhappy Hour in all of the places that we are, and we'll talk about the sports every single day, at least in the Facebook group and on X. On X, we're at the Unhappy Hour _ and search the Unhappy Hour Sports Show on Facebook and join our private group. Okay? Go Browns. Great win. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.